It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back. And look who I have with me again. Hi, Ika. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Is my mic working okay for you?
Your mic's good. I think maybe it's me. I'm using my AirPods and I'm not sure if that's what's giving me a bit of problems, but you're good.
Okay. Well, if at any point it gives you too much or too many problems, I'll just mouth everything to you.
No, no, you're fine.
But I just wanted to start off by saying, hi, how are you? And I haven't seen you in a little bit. So how's it been?
It's been going really good. I feel like, I don't know what it is. I heard it's like Mercury. Is it Mercury retrograde? Where this month has been a little bit for like a lot of people.
And it's supposed to be over in 2 days from now.
I can't wait.
Yeah, me me either. No, I've had a crazy week too where I left from South Florida and went to LA for like 15 hours or 20 hours or something like that. Came straight back, but the plane ride was ridiculous. The hotel was awful. And I know that sounds like first world problems, right? You're complaining about all of these stupid things, but it was just that. And then one thing after another with family and everything else. I was like, God, I'm ready for this to be over.
It's literally a thing. It's a thing. I want it to be those 2 days. I'm counting it down.
All right. Well, in the meantime, we'll keep you busy because we came here to recap the Real Housewives of Dallas. And the funny thing is I was talking to you about this and you are still kind of on the fence on whether or not you even find these women interesting, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Adam's exposing me, my true thoughts.
No.
No, yeah. I don't find them interesting at all. And I do like certain women. I like Tiffany, I like Deandra, but at this point I'm kind of grasping at straws of who to like. They're just not interesting this season.
Okay. Well, that's fair. No, honestly, because I think most of us thought the same thing about the Real Housewives of Orange County. This was such an awful season. And it wasn't just because everybody was boycotting Kelly Dodd. She was a part of the season, so you can't use that excuse. It was just I was going to say a crap season, but a not great season. Real Housewives of Dallas kind of seems like it's going that way, but Tiffany Moon is carrying the season a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, when she's not feeding people crickets and when she's not upsetting people with her closet and just upsetting people by being so rich. Yeah, she definitely is carrying the season. I will say, though, had Tiffany had fed me crickets, it would have been a whole problem. I do love Tiffany, but don't mess with Black folks and their food. You can't do that.
I was actually going to ask you, I was going to say, would your reaction have had, would it have been as dramatic as Brandi's?
I feel like, well, Brandi threw up. I don't know if I would have been really upset. I would have been like, you don't mess with the food. You just don't mess with people's food. You could eat the crickets and that's okay, but you don't mess with my food. Don't put anything, don't even put extra salt in my food without asking me. Don't do that.
Wow. See, I'm kind of weird about my food too, because I don't like anything touching. So I get that. But, when I want to say maybe I was 9 or 10, we went to Alabama, my family and I. And when we went to Alabama, we ate this meat and my dad was like, this is a steak. And I was like, oh, it's good. And it was deer meat because I kept refusing to eat deer meat. So I wanted to ask you, have you ever been tricked into eating something that you didn't actually know what it was?
You know what? I haven't, but again, I am Jamaican and we are really serious about our food. And you don't feed me nothing and not tell me what it is. It's a real problem.
Okay. So we don't mess with your food. At least we know that. If we didn't know that about you, we just got a fun fact. Don't mess with Ika's food. All right. So moving on, I wanted to ask you another question because I'm not a fashionable or stylish person. Really, I'm not. I just wear all black all the time. So with that being said, watching the show and seeing the women go on this group trip, I guess, to Lake Austin, and we see Cam packing her bags. Do you think it's ridiculous as much as the women pack for these trips. Do you find that to be for camera, or do you feel like that's just no? Honestly, if you go on a trip, even if it's 3 days, you're bringing 4 or 5 bags.
No, I don't do that, but I'm not like a millionaire, like housewife. I'm not quite sure what they do, but I don't do that. I was like a shoe for every outfit. I'd be like packing like a shoe that could go with different outfits.
Yeah, no, and when she was sitting there trying to explain the fact that she is a size 11 shoe, she's like, I need a big suitcase. My feet are big. I was kind of laughing because I had one of my stepmoms back in the day. It was not my last stepmom, but the stepmom before that. She had a size 14 foot because she was 6'4", and she was just a very tall woman. And she always said it's offensive to ask a woman's shoe size. Is that actually offensive?
I never thought it was offensive, but I feel like maybe people who have like abnormally, bigger feet would find it offensive because then they have to say how big the feet are. But for me,
so would you find it offensive if you had a size 14 foot?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. No, I guess I can understand that because it falls into the same category as like, you don't really ask women about their age, about their feet size. There are a few things that we should, I guess, leave alone.
But if I was 21 and you're like, how old are you? Like, I'm 21, living my best life, I'd be fine. But now I'm like, I'm 30 something. And I'd be like, Adam, don't do that. We're not going there.
Like, don't put me on blast. I'll come through the screen and punch you in the throat. No. Going through the Housewives, I actually learn a lot as I'm watching them, and I see them. They're always teaching me new things. And one of the things that I learned this episode was with Tiffany Moon and this freaking Excel sheet. I always try to get my stuff together before I start packing and before I go on a trip. And I'll get a paper towel with a Sharpie marker and I'll write down like pillowcases, blankets, like I write down everything, and I'm not organized in the sense that I have like right? If we have an iPhone, it's like a $500 to $1,000 phone. So I have this phone right in my hand and I can make a list, and I'm, I guess, just old school about it. How do you pack?
I pack the day of 2 hours before I leave. I like the rush of things.
Don't you forget stuff?
Yeah, but then I can just go buy it whenever I'm there.
So you're a procrastinator.
It's a character flaw of mine, but yes, I really, I am. I don't know why I'm like that, but at least I'm self-aware.
But I feel like, so usually procrastinators don't end up dating or getting with somebody who is also a procrastinator. So you guys must balance each other out, and you must be super late about things where he's probably very organized.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Dimitri will pack like everything's all done. His toothbrush, everything is all laid out. And then my suitcase is everything all tossed in. Like, I need help. I don't know what to do. Oh my God, I'm late. And it's like everybody's fault, and except for mine.
No, Jason is the same way, where he will sit there and he'll have everything kind of laid out, and he actually has a fit. If I go in the closet and I start trying to do something to help out, whether it's laundry or something, and I start hanging things up, he'll come back and he'll rip the hanger out of the shirt and he'll be like, that's not the way that it goes, and puts it in the right way and goes through a whole tutorial. And he's like, if you want to have a good day, just get this right. It's just organization. I'm like, you look like a serial killer right now. This is kind of next level. I'm a little bit slightly afraid of you.
No, I am not like that. Dimitri is, maybe 2 steps below Jason, but I'm definitely like chaotic and fly as you go. Oh my gosh, if I forget it, great. I could just go shopping. Like, I'm that person.
Okay, so a little bit more spontaneous with it too. I like that. All right. So I want to move on. Since you're talking about shopping, sometimes people shop excessively and sometimes they don't. And sometimes people who shop excessively don't brag about it. However, Tiffany Moon talking about her 9 Toto toilets felt to the women like she was bragging. I kind of, just from my perspective, and I'm curious how you feel about Tiffany, but watching her trying to navigate this group of women, it seems like she's always had her head in the books. She's always been focused on education and what her family wanted. And she, like she said, has always watched these big groups of girls and wanted to fit in. So now it seems like she thinks she knows what kind of girl she wants to be by coming in and being a little bit bossy and trying to take charge, but she's having a hard time. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say she's having a hard time, but as a viewer, I'm interested in the toilets. I want to know what they, because I don't have any toilets. I don't even know what was it Toto toilets?
Yeah.
What is that?
I think it warms like the seat for you, and it's like acts as a bidet. You talk to it. I think it has a remote too. I think it has a fun like neon light inside of it. I don't know. It's like a little smart toilet.
So for like the viewer at home, I'm like, oh, interesting. But if I was hanging out with somebody who was constantly like, oh yeah, I have this and I have that, maybe it'd be a little bit annoying. But I don't think she's like doing it to be annoying. It just is.
Right. Well, she might not have been doing that to be annoying, and I know you said you don't mess with your food, but the crickets thing kind of seemed annoying, especially after Cam had just explained to her that the chicken feet thing really bothered her, and you still go out of your way to feed everybody crickets.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. The crickets, okay, the chicken feet thing, I was like, okay, like, you know what? Like, I don't like chicken feet, but my family eats it, and I'm just like, keep it away from me. I don't like it. I don't like feet, foot, toes, fingernails, nothing. But putting the food like mixed in with things that like I would not eat would really offend me. So I don't know if she just thinks she's being playful, but she's not. Like, be playful with other things, just not with the food. Just leave the food alone.
Stuff that I put inside of my body, maybe not.
Yes, and skincare. The food and skincare, leave us alone.
Got it.
And guys, my hair.
and guys, if you haven't already, go ahead. See, I'm so easy with my hair. If you haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button, show some love. And moving on, I want to talk about some of these eccentric personalities, because sometimes I don't know if it's so put on for the camera or if that's actually who we're dealing with. And Cameron Westcott is one of those personalities because she has everything pink. She even has her itinerary pink and scented, very legally blonde of her, right? With the resume. Like, she goes the extra mile to sometimes mess up her interviews with the way she talks and grammatically kind of making her sound like maybe she doesn't know what she's saying, almost like Paris Hilton syndrome. What do you think? Do you feel like some of these women play up a character?
Yeah, I do. I think they want to keep reminding the audience, like, hey, I am this legally blonde person. I am this person, remember? So I'm going to just show it to you guys again in the interview or in our confessionals. I do think there is a bit of, play up that goes into being on camera. It's like once you see it, like, oh yeah, it's there. And you kind of just perk up a bit. I'm thinking, because nobody is like that in real life, right?
Well, see, that's what I would think too, but I feel like she's almost playing up like Jen Shaw is playing up on Salt Lake City, where she wants to be that kind of aggressive, like, bah, yelling at everybody, flipping at the flip of a switch kind of personality. Whereas it seems like Cam also wants to portray this legally blonde kind of like, personality too, not throwing any shade at her or anything. But then you have somebody like Brandi Redmond who comes in and puts on that silly little like Elvis Presley wig, and she's just fun. She messes up, she owns it, and I feel like she's never really trying to be something that she's not. I actually really like Brandi Redmond.
You know what? Brandi, I'm a little bit like, I'm hot and cold with Brandi. I'm like, okay, yeah, she's good in this moment, but I'm still just like, I don't know. I don't like the blow up dolls. I don't like the Elvis outfit. Was it Elvis? Yeah. I'm not, I find these group of women to be, they're like, whenever I watch the Real Housewives on television, I'm always looking for like, oh, wow, I get an insight into like this, like seen world. And it's just so cool and interesting and rich. And I don't get, cool and interesting from them. I get like, I don't want to go there. I'm going to close the gate. I want to go back to another house. I'll go back to Beverly Hills.
You want a new city?
Atlanta. Yeah.
That's it. Well, and that's fair. A lot of people, people again, not Dallas seems like it's just getting the same sort of flack that OC is getting, because a lot of people are saying, we don't want OC. Give us Real Housewives of San Francisco. Switch it up. Like, we don't want Dallas. Other people are saying, give us somewhere else in the United States. But maybe Real Housewives of Hawaii. I don't know. But something different. That would be cool, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay. So I want to move on, because there's one of the housewives that kind of, you said Brandi is maybe not your favorite with the way that she dresses up and kind of operates how she does. But one of the housewives that I can't seem to grow to be obsessed with would probably be Kary. I don't understand why they're catering this trip around her, especially after they just gave her that birthday party, right? And then she's getting the master suite in this place. They're all complaining about going down the driveway, but Kary's complaining too. And then, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's really ridiculous to say, but I just feel like that would not be one person I would want to surround myself with, even though that's harsh.
I know it's hard.
Like a Debbie Downer.
You know what? I was confused as well. I was like, okay, we just gave her a party. We just saw that. Like, I don't get why we're doing this again, unless they want to. Unless they were like, okay, we need an excuse to kind of like go somewhere, and we're gonna use her birthday again as for I don't know, you know. And I was just like, you could have just said, let's plan a trip. Let's get out. Let's just do something and not make it about her birthday. She's not my favorite. So I'm like stuttering and tripping over my words. I don't want to say anything like so mean.
No, I know. I get it.
I don't like her. I'm like,
I don't necessarily like her, but I did feel bad for her in this episode because nobody likes to really be talked about, especially if it's not to your face. And she ended up walking up and overhearing Deandra and Tiffany Moon talking about how Deandra was upset that Kary apologized to Tiffany. She's trying to make amends, but she hasn't tried at all to make amends with Deandra. And they're the ones who have that genuine friendship. So Deandra's confused and she's in her feelings. And one thing I do have to say about Tiffany, and it gave me more points for liking her, was the fact that she had that moment and she could have just been that girl who was like, you know, yeah, she's so annoying and screw her. She's not a good friend. But she kept saying, Deandra, I think that she was genuine. I think that you're reading too much into it. It made me really like Tiffany Moon.
You know what? So I thought two things in that situation. So I felt like Tiffany was like, no, you know, maybe she is, you know, being so nice and she is turning over a new leaf. Yeah, it's easy for you to say when she gave you the apology and she's been coming at me for weeks. So I felt like Tiffany felt good about Kary in that moment because she received an apology. So it's easy for her to say, oh yeah, and forget all the, you know, the mean things that she's done in the past. And for Kary, I mean, when she was standing there listening, because listen, I rewounded this just to make sure, because I knew I was gonna come on here with you. And when she was standing there listening to Tiffany and Deandra talk, she wasn't crying or hurt. She was like, ooh, let's go get this tea. And then when she left and went to the other girl, she was like, oh, victim me. Girl, pick a struggle. Are you a victim or are you gonna be here like, okay, let me hear what she has to say and that's that? Like, which one are you? Because she flips back and forth too much, and that's why I don't like her. It's like, be a victim, play your role, or get the tea and go laugh about it. But you can't pick both. You can't pick like whenever it's convenient for you to cry. Like, and the tears, if you look closely, guys, go back and rewind it. She was forcing out the tears to come down so they could like comfort her. Girl, bye. No.
No, there's actually a saying for that. I think it's, you can't be the victim and the aggressor at the same time. And yeah, that's true. You can't sit there and cry when it's almost like people sometimes give me flack for when I watch the Real Housewives of Atlanta and I'm watching Kenya Moore and she goes in on people all the time, but then she's like, help me. And I'm like, well, you attack everybody. You can't just ask for everybody to start helping you and start feeling bad about yourself when you attack everybody. But yeah, I think it's the same way.
Yeah, I feel like with Kenya, at least Kenya brings different like dynamics in a storyline. You know, at least she brings something where I could be like, okay, what is Kenya up to again? Like, what is she gonna do this time?
Yeah,
Kary, no, I'm sorry. Like, you can't. The crying one minute and then the freaking out the next minute. Like, if you're gonna eavesdrop on somebody's private conversation, it is not. Like, if Deandra wants to talk about her to her friend, that's her prerogative. If you choose to come and eavesdrop on that conversation, that is your problem, not mine. I never asked you to eavesdrop on my conversation when I was in my feelings. That is your problem.
Well, I also want to ask you one thing too, because I'm loving this insight from you and knowing how you feel about everything you do. I want to know if you've ever experienced a B12 shot.
What is that?
Yeah,
The vitamin shot thing?
that was the shot that she got in her butt. And then all of a sudden that they gave Deandra in her butt. And well, Tiffany did. And then Deandra said, yep, that's going to make me more wild now. And I was like, what is a B12 shot?
A B12 shot is called rich people things that I don't know about.
Oh, I don't know about it either. You know what I would probably be more apt to know about would be that chicken bingo. Only because I keep telling you about going to visit my family in the South and stuff, but I've never heard of chicken bingo either.
I was like, what are they doing to the chicken? Like, why? I fast forwarded that part. I was like, what? I can't watch this. Like, this is not happening right now. Like, let's just get past this.
That is some country. You can say that. I'm not saying anything. Listen, my dad looks and sounds like Larry the Cable Guy. That is some country ass. You know what I'm saying? Like chicken bingo. What is that?
I have never seen that in my life. I've never even heard of that. I felt uncomfortable watching it.
Okay, so we'll move on because I think I felt uncomfortable too. And I didn't even want to sit there. Yeah, I was fast forwarding and I watched the episode twice and I was like, I can't, this is so awkward. And at first I thought that they were going to have to, never mind, move it themselves, you know, like there was actually, they would have to play with that as the pieces. And I didn't think there was actually a live chicken involved, but this all around, no matter which way you played it, was going to be disgusting. So
exactly.
Moving on. Kary ended up making a speech after she found out that Deandra was sitting there talking about her. And she wanted to make her speech and say, you know what? If there's anybody who didn't want to be here, I'm appreciative for the ones who did. But if you don't want to be here, Deandra, then you don't have to be here. And it was just literally looking at her right in the face. And Deandra kind of, everything came to a head. And she's like, I think that, you know, I'm calling you a bully. And then she even added the B word after it. Bully is a pretty harsh word in today's times, right? I mean, bully's always been a harsh word, but now if you throw it around, like I feel like 15 years ago, you would say, you're a bully. Oh yeah, well, whereas like now it's like, you know, you're a bully. Don't call me a bully because bully, you're labeling me. So bully, it goes a little bit further now. Do you feel like it was harsh for Deandra to call Kary a bully?
No, I feel like if that's how she feels and that's the way she wants to, you know, express herself, then, you know, that was her choice of words that she feels like, well, you're bullying me. I do think the word is like, they're just making it like they're desensitizing it, you know, and it's just, and I'm like, come on, you guys are grown women. You choose to be in this person's presence. If someone's bullying you, then you wouldn't opt to like be around them. You would, you know, stay home or do whatever else to not be around someone who's traumatizing you. So I will say that, like, you know, Kary's harsh and, you know, she could be perceived as a bully, but if she was bullying me and had the option of not being around her, I would either A, I stand up to her, or B, I don't be around her. But as a grown adult, you have a choice. So is she bullying you that badly for you to, you know, like you keep going back, you keep wanting to be friends with her, you're hurt that this bully isn't friends with you? Like which one is it?
Yeah, I get that. You're like, yeah, I mean, at this point, no, it's true. But with Deandra and Kary, I think that when they rolled the tape back and showed the fact that she's always nagging her, I was like, well, this does kind of add up to be, I don't know if bullying is the right word, but a little annoying and naggy. So there is a word for it.
She's definitely, you know what it is? She's mean and she's not a nice person. That's what the word is.
Well, and then they can't, that's fair. And they can't decide, you know, like they both keep calling each other liars, both at the same time. They're like, that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. Because they were talking or being asked, I think it was Stephanie who asked Kary, you know, does Deandra ever ask you about your family? And Deandra's like, yes, I ask her about her family. And then they both start going in. They don't believe each other. They both have their own narratives of the situation. They've kind of rewritten it in their own ways that benefit themselves. And it seems like at this point, we need a break.
Yeah, I'm over that whole storyline. Like, you know, they're a victim and they're bullying, and it's just like, do we have anything else? Will this be the entire storyline of the Real Housewives of Dallas? Like one person, like being a victim and, you know, being a bully. Is there anything else?
I mean, I kind of hope not, because we ended off this episode with all of that. You know, they started fighting. Deandra ends up storming off, and she's like, "Go F yourself," and is yelling at everybody. And then all of a sudden, Tiffany goes and chases after her, and she's like, "No, come back in and don't do this. You can't leave." And she's trying to pack all of her stuff, and then all of a sudden they go back over to Kary, and they're like, "Please come talk to her." And Kary was like, "Cry to me all you want. I don't care. I don't care. Like, you go tell her whatever, but for me, I'm not caving in." And I was like, okay, well, she's really holding her ground. But again, no, I don't want that to be the main storyline.
Yeah, but I feel like it is. And did you guys see the look on Tiffany's face when Kary turned back into Kary? Because for a while, Tiffany was preaching to Deandra, "Oh, girl, you know, maybe she meant it this time. Maybe she's changed." Girl, that was the tequila that she had earlier that was talking. Okay, she felt great in that moment. And then Kary turned into Kary again, and Tiffany's like it was like legit the funniest face I've ever seen. This entire season.
When she was sitting there crying and she was trying to explain, like, you know, like, "I just want friends to get along," Kary's like, "Move out of the way. Like, I'm going to rip your head off."
Yeah, she has to beg me. I was like, I couldn't. Could you see yourself hanging out with these women and just like keeping a straight face and having a conversation as if everything is okay? I would be like,
I think I would just join in the shenanigans at a certain point and just like down the vodka or tequila myself, and then just start breaking shit with everybody else, you know, like just doing what I had to do to be. They're like, "Well, cameras are here, go," and I'd be like, you know, just wiling out over there. But no, I couldn't imagine, because one, I feel like it takes a certain personality to sit there at this table with 6 cameras in your face and pretend like some of these conversations even matter in any capacity, because a lot of them are really stupid. And I know stupid's not a nice word, but a lot of them are really just pointless.
I feel like whenever I watch these shows, I really do think that Kary is her worst enemy. You know, she is her biggest obstacle. But so is Deandra. So is a lot of these women. And I like watching shows where at some point they could reflect and say, "Oh, like, you know, like that was my bad and I should have done better." But I feel like watching this, they never have that moment. Like, they never have it. I'm like, when will I see that moment? I am tired of seeing Kary. At this point, I'm like, maybe I'll just not watch.
Whoa. Wow.
She makes it so hard to enjoy something. And I hate watching something and I'm left with such negative feelings. Like, it wasn't even fun or funny or like good shade. It was just like, oh, okay. Is that how you feel?
Yeah, well, I mean, technically, listen, you don't have to feel so totally down at this point, because we have Real Housewives of New Jersey coming on tonight. So at least you have some sort of filler. Like, if you don't like Dallas, you're not just going to go without any sort of Housewives. Now you have Jersey.
No, I know. I am watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm watching what was this? It's not Salt Lake City. It's Salt Lake City. Yeah. I'm watching the reunion. Reunion was good. So I'm watching other things where I'm just like, this one. I hope it takes a turn for not the whole. I just hate victims. I hate people who sit and cry all the time. And the people who cry about being a victim are usually the ones who are like antagonizing a situation. So I don't like watching it.
Yeah, no, honestly, and Real Housewives of Atlanta is supposed to be getting really good this upcoming episode on Sunday. So they said that this is going to be the most ridiculous, crazy, outrageous premiere for Real Housewives of New Jersey. But they say that every year, so we'll have to wait and see. And no, with that, I get what you mean, and I hope there's something more interesting to watch as Dallas goes on, but we'll have to wait and see. Usually I ask, what are you looking forward to most? But at this point, they just need to give us something to look forward to. So
exactly. Right? I like that. Just give us something. Give us something that's not like, you know, somebody just crying about being a victim. Like, all they do, if you watch The Real Housewives of Dallas, this is all they do. In a nutshell, all they do is compare like who has the worst home life, who has it harder with their kids, who is the bigger victim, and they're trying to win. It's like they're in a race and they're trying to win to see who's the bigger victim. And right now, like, Kary is really pleading her point. She's like, "Listen, I'm a bigger victim because of A, B, C, D, and E. Like she's like trying to like drill that point in. And that's all like the episodes have been so far. And then you have Tiffany who's just talking about being rich. I like people talking about being rich. It's just, I think it's fun.
It's almost like with people, I mean, almost like Bling Empire, or have you seen that?
Yes, I've binge watched it.
Yeah, when you like immerse yourself in that lifestyle and you're like, oh, wow. No, it's fascinating. Sometimes it's more fascinating to watch that than other people who might be living in the same situation that we might be, or you or me, or I don't know, your living situation, or me or somebody else that might be in my building who doesn't live at the Ritz-Carlton Reserve. You know what I'm saying? Like people,
no, for sure.
Just watching people who are kind of doing it, or have maybe $1 million to like $2-3 million. That's one thing, and that's awesome. But then there are some people out there who have that 50, 100, $150 million lifestyle, and I want to see that.
Me too. Like me too. Where, bravo, get these women on the Real Housewives. Like these are like real rich people. I want to see real rich people.
All right. So with that being said, we're going to get Ika into casting, and that's just it. And we're firing Real Housewives of Dallas and Orange County.
Oh my God. No, I'm just on a tangent because I watched the episode this morning and I was just like, ugh. I should have watched it last night and then decompress for this interview, because when you watch it right away, you're just like, it's like fresh.
I feel like somebody just cut you. Like you're feeling it deep right now.
Feeling it deep.
All right. So we don't even know if we're going to get Ika back for next week, because Ika doesn't even know if she's going to be watching, but hopefully she's watching Real Housewives of New Jersey, and maybe we'll even come back next week and talk about some of that. With that being said, I appreciate all of you guys for watching. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead, hit that like button, show some love. And Ika, can you let us know where we can find you if anyone's living under a rock?
You guys can find me at Dem and Ika on YouTube. We're pretty much just a couples channel. And I come here. Adam, I'm not joking. I pretty much like watch your channel whenever I'm getting ready for anything. Watch all your interviews. I loved your interview with Fallon. It was amazing.
I love Fallon.
I love her.
I had a talking to by, well, actually, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this off to the side. But yes, I got some flack about the Fallon interview, but it was good. I loved it.
I loved it. She gives off such rich energy. I love it.
I know she's like, I have my private jet, but I don't even, honestly, people don't know this about me, but and I'm not making fun of her, but I love when she said that. She's like, people don't know this about me, but I don't even like to fly. Like, I know.
Like,
I would,
yeah, I know.
Like, yeah. I'm like, I hate flying too, but I would probably love to fly if I was flying in that.
Exactly.
But I'm flying in United Airlines, like there's 3 people cramming me in and I have to ask if I can go, it's very different.
It's true. It's true. So true.
But Ika, thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, I'll keep in touch with you over this week and see how we feel about New Jersey and next week's episode of Dallas, and see if we can't maybe steal you back for something if it's not Dallas.
Okay, I'll watch it. Hopefully, I'm sure next week will be better than this one. It has to be.
I mean, they didn't set the bar very high. So then again, we said that with every episode of Orange County, and we never felt like it got better. So don't hold your breath. We'll see. But thank you again, Ika. I appreciate you.
No worries. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.